What's up, y'all? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit the like, sub, comment, notifications, do all of that good stuff, okay? And I want to talk about Luka for just a couple minutes. Um, it's no question that the Mavs have been trying their best to turn things around in the organization uh, in terms of the front office. Uh, you know, then with the coaching change, front office, Luka disappointed in what was going on, so went ahead and made the change in terms of Donnie Nelson Jr. Then on top of that, because Donnie Nelson Jr. was real close with Rick Carlisle, Rick Carlisle chose to go ahead and take his coaching philosophies over to where he had first began with the Indiana Pacers during the Larry Brown era. And not only that, then you have Jason Kidd, which was one of the biggest headlines in the offseason that came up. Him taking over, despite all of the rumblings of his past and checkered and uh, some of the unsuccessful. Some people feel like he was unsuccessful with the Milwaukee Bucks. Me personally, I don't feel that way. I felt that not only with um, with Brooklyn being placed in a situation in which Brook Lopez was out for that season, they were somewhat successful, you know. And then with Milwaukee, one could argue that he implemented a lot of things, but the main thing was is that he gave Giannis somewhat of a somewhat of a chance, um, allowing him to get started into the evolution of what you see today. Then, of course, a lot of people didn't really talk about this, but I keep saying that this was a big deal. Well, two things. Dirk Nowitzki has taken over as uh, they brought him on as a special advisor, something similar to what Ben Wallace is to the Detroit Pistons organization. And then, of course, not very many people talked about this, but I talked about it, was Michael Finley moving up in terms of the VP. And he was already one of the head guys in terms of the international recruiting for Dallas. And Michael Finley is well respected in Dallas too as well. He's respected in Phoenix, don't get me wrong, too, but he's also respected in Dallas, and he's respected at San Antonio as well, too. Having said all of that, though, a lot of people go at me when I talk about Luka, and the thing about it, thing people don't realize is that I like Luka. He's a dynamic player. Matter of fact, I was probably one of the only ones that felt that he should have been ranked as high as he was in terms of the rankings the season before last. And people tried to go at me saying I was capping, saying that, nah, he shouldn't have been ranked that high. Da 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 da. He's not this. He's not that, and all this other stuff. Bringing up this and bringing up that. But see, this has nothing to do with Luka's talent per se, right? This has nothing to do with Luka's talent, his know-how, his craftiness, and his skills, his skill set. The elephant in the room about Luka, which people really don't really tend to talk about, is Luka coming off of the ball. Okay. What people have to understand, man, is when you have a ball dominant player such as a Luka, and at one point, of course, James Harden, guys like this who have the ball in their hands a big percentage of the time. Very little success in terms of team wise is going to be warranted because Luka possesses the skill. We know that. But see, my problem with Luka is that you have other people on your team, and I know some people felt like, okay, well, they didn't, they weren't performing against the Clippers and all of this other stuff. When Luka went on to the bench or whatnot, you know, they felt like the team wasn't anything. Listen, that has a lot to do with the fact that, okay, Luka's out there, he's dribbling, dribbling, and dribbling some more and all this other stuff. And look, I know he gets his assist, but it's it's not as hard to get assists in the game today where it's a lot of it is predicated on shooting a lot, especially if you have shooters out on the floor. Okay, so if you're passing the ball and they make a three, well, guess what? That's an assist right there. And that's not to say that Luka was just doing that because he was facilitating ball to his credit just a little bit and stuff. But the primary ball handler should be Jalen Brunson. It should be Jalen Brunson. And then in order for Luka to see a lot more success, he won't be worn down by the time the end of the third and then the fourth quarter comes. Because you got to think about it. Yeah, he did a great job. Those first couple games. What's up, Big Who? I'll see you in the building. Well, I'm not going to go that far. He's not. They play totally different. If you're going to say anybody is more like Luka, then you would look at a guy like James Harden. The only difference is Luka. I mean, the only difference between them two is that Luka, he in his young age, and because people tend to forget Luka is not even 25 yet. He's still a baby in this game, but he might play like he might seem like he's mature, but the difference is that Luka at his young age really does he has a clutch gene for one in the moment and everything. James Harden, he does that and he takes over the game, But when it comes to playoffs and him being in big moments, towards the end of the game when it really mattered, that's been his Achilles heel. And look, I know he was shorthanded, with the Chris Paul situation, stuff like that. But nevertheless, if you're gonna cry about MVPs and cry about this, cry about that, then okay, you're gonna have to pipe down and get focused and strap him up and put that work in when the time when the time is necessary. When the lights are on, it's time to perform. But I put it to you like this: in order for them to see success this season, Luka is going to have to do that. He's going to have to come off of the ball, especially when it comes to the half court, because you got to think about it. He's already dribbling when he gets up there and then he gets past the timeline. Then okay, he's going to dribble some more. It's not happening all the time or whatnot, but it's happening a big percentage of the game. You know, and look, I'm not one to always come with uh with analytics and stuff like that all the time, but we have to understand that usage rate, it does have a big impact. It does have a big impact. Now, Luka this past season, his usage rate was at 36.6. Okay, and he was right up there. He was all listen. I want you to put this in perspective. He was up there with James Harden. James Harden's usage rate was at 40.5% in the 2018-19 season, right? Guess what his usage rate went down to when he went to Brooklyn? It went down to 26.9%. That's a huge drop. And guess what? They were more until that injury. They were actually getting to be successful because a lot of people felt like if Kyrie wouldn't have got hurt and if James Harden wasn't hobbled by the hamstring issue, then he probably they probably would have beat the Milwaukee Bucks. Now do I agree with that? That's neither here nor there because I can't really make that, injuries like as an excuse. I've said that time and time again with people that I've talked to on here before because Giannis was hurt and battling injuries too. There were other people, numerous of other teams in there battling injuries too. So pretty much a lot of teams, a lot of players were in similar situations. Maybe not the same severity, but they were in similar situations. Even the Clippers, your Clippers, Big Who, they were in that situation. You know, but see, when you talk about usage rate, if his usage rate goes down, they could probably be a lot more successful. They have guys on their roster that can get you quality buckets. And it's also uh, because Donovan Mitchell, he led the league with 37.4 in terms of his usage rate. You know, and that was in the playoffs. That was in the playoffs. Okay, Luka's usage rate in the playoffs was 40.4%. 40.4%. So it shot up. He went from 36, then it went up to 40.4. We know that. We know that. And James Harden was 40.69, 40.69. Right, exactly. T-bone. Damn. Theo, man. My nigga Theo B, man. Hey, look, I know you're a Theo B, man. That nigga T, that nigga Theo B came with some "Don't be a menace" while drinking your juice in the hood type shit. Theo, man, you better T-bone. That nigga, that nigga Theo said, he said, "Look, man, don't call me Theo no more. Call me T-bone." I mean, shout out to well, I know you're a Theo, but we'll say T-bone, okay? T-bone eggs, cheese steak throughout the telly. You got me thinking about Biggie and shit, man. Why you do that shit, man? I'm fucking with you though. Theo, I'm gonna call you Theo, man, but T-bone, but you got a good point though, man. To get back on the subject, yeah, Jason Kidd's offense will help other players succeed. Now, I'm not gonna exempt Porzingis from the smoke at all. Okay, I'm not gonna exempt him from the smoke deal because uh, while Porzingis did have a he had a solid season. He had a solid season. He had a solid season in terms of the season, the regular season. He was at 20.1, shot 47.9, 8.9 rebounds. Should be up a little bit more. Uh, and then of course, what you did? He This year he went way down uh, because he was at 13.1. So that was a tremendous drop from the bubble because in the bubble he actually uh, KP actually went from 23.7, 8.7 rebounds. Even though he only played the 3 games, he still was way, way, way more successful in the bubble than what he was this year. Okay. Now he was complaining a lot about not getting the ball. Um, I know I'm in minority, but Luka should be shooting guard and let Jalen Brunson. Exactly. No, 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 no. You're not a minority. Look, the only reason why you're gonna feel like you're a minority, Larry Bird, and salute to you, is because that's what's marketed. They see a dribble, 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 and then dribble. Okay, yes, that's your star. They're gonna be like, yeah, look at this, look at that, and stuff like that. I think having a personality like a Jason Kidd will be able to get in. into Luka, pause, and really challenge him. Jason's kid philosophy, a lot of people frown upon it because they say he's too hard nosed and too old school. Well, that would be perfect for Luca for the simple fact that when you talk about overseas playing and stuff, a lot of them still play uh, that old school. They have that old school type of mentality, even though it's still European style and stuff like that. They still have that, and you got to think about it. The game is physical overseas too, as well. So that's why, like, he come over here, he's able to he's able to put up, big numbers. But that's great. That's all great. But how is that impacting your team? A 40-point. Donovan Mitchell played better off the ball when Ricky Rubio was there, but his usage rate was still high. It was still high. I think he was at second. He was at 37.4. Luka was at 40.4. The Jazz, I would have gave them a slight shot. They were killing during the year, but then once Mike Conley Jr. had went down, that was a big hit right there. And then of course Donovan Mitchell felt like he had to take over and stuff like that, but you still have weapons on your team. I mean, you uh, you had Clarkson. Of course, you had Joe Ingles. Now Gobert. Now a lot of people felt like Rudy Gobert had actually got exposed earlier in the year. But if you want to go ahead and you want to talk about how he got exposed during the playoffs, you could go ahead and say that as well. But they had really lost their confidence when they lost Mike Conley Jr. And then when he tried, he came back with less than 100%. He did what he could, but they just weren't. He wasn't the same. But no, you're not in a minority when you say that, Larry. Not at all, because I feel the same way. You're talking about Jalen Brunson is a champion. Yeah, was it at the collegiate level? Yeah, it was. It was at the collegiate level, but he still understands how to run an offense, especially at the point guard position. You know, Jalen Brunson Jalen Brunson was averaging uh, 12.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. He shot 52.3% for field goal, right? Now, not only did he shoot 53.3% from field goal, guess what he shot from three pointers? He shot 40%. Oh, hello. So guess where else I'm gonna go? Damn near 50, 40, 90 guy. Now he was at his free throws, he was at 79.5. He went down from the previous year. He was at 81.3. Then you got to take into account, this guy rarely missed any games. He played pretty much 68 games. 68 games the whole entire year. If you want to look at his playoff stats, we could look at that too. You know, You know, he averaged 8 points, 2.6, 2.6 rebounds, and 1.4 assists. Okay, that's not going to jump out at you. It's not going to jump out at you. Okay, not at all. But his percentage wise, while he wasn't really taking that many attempts from 3 pointers, he still made a valuable contribution. Not the best, but it could have been better because he had a a plus minus of negative 56 while he was on the floor for the whole. You know, um, hold on one second, guys. Trying to, uh, you know, but see, they get on Brunson about having a negative 56. Guess what Luka was? Guess what Luka was? He was at a negative 38. So it wasn't any better. It was not any better. I mean, it was better than 56, but no, it still was a negative. But I hate when they say that guys didn't really play that good. When you talk about Finney Smith, okay, Finney Smith, he averaged 10.3, 6.6, and 2.1 assists. He did a solid job. And guess what he was? While people want to sit up here and say that Finney Smith was trash and he was garbage and all this other stuff, he was hitting key shots. He was a plus 26 in 7 games. So, okay, you want Luka to dribble, 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 dribble. Yeah, he putting up points and stuff like that, but it's taken away from his team. He's a negative 38. Finney Smith is a plus 26 on the floor. He's adding value. He's shooting way better. I think he was shooting pretty much what? He shot 43.2% from three. A 40% shooter. 80% from the line. So why are y'all sitting up here saying? Why are some of these people sitting up here saying that Luka? Oh, without Luka, all else has failed. That's not true. That's not true. There could be a solution in this whole entire thing, and that is Luka to give up the ball, to come up off the ball, especially when you come in 94 feet. You don't need to handle that rock. Go ahead, give it up, and then Let Brunson bring that up over that timeline. Come out either weak side or strong side, and bam, you could go ahead and operate like that. Probably can, he could probably do many other things. He could probably facilitate the ball. He could probably score the ball because we know he's gonna get a triple double, and if not, damn near. We gotta think about this sort of thing. We have to think about this sort of thing. Yeah, for everybody that sits up there and criticizes these other players that that did not play that good. Okay. Yes, we understand that KCP didn't play that good. Richardson tried to do his best. When we talk about Josh Richardson, okay, when he played for the Mavericks, because I know Richardson, he was he's with Boston now, which that's a big. I don't care what anybody says. Losing Josh Richardson, that was a tremendous loss right there. That was a tremendous loss. You know, he brought defense. His points are not going to jump out at you, but he brought defense, and he shot somewhat decent from the 3 point, not the best, but when you look at a guy like Josh Richardson's stats, it's not always going to jump out at you because he's doing stuff that's not really going to be celebrated and stuff in terms of stats and analytics and all that other stuff. It's not really going to be celebrated like that. You know, I also look at what Tim Hardaway Jr. brought to the table. You know, a lot of people they got down on Tim Hardaway Jr. in terms of and look, I'm not looking at the regular season stats. I'm looking at these playoff stats. Now, for as much hell as they give Luka was a negative 58, right? The negative 58, I mean negative 38 in terms of his plus minus, right? And they were talking all this crazy stuff about Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. He was only a negative 2, okay? But Tim Hardaway Jr. he put up 17 points per game. He shot 40.4% from 3 pointers, and shot somewhat decent from the free throw line, 75%. Okay. Meanwhile, you got Luka, who's getting praised, not really getting the criticism and stuff like that, and he's got a minus 38. It so what? I mean, why are they sitting up in here and they're not criticizing? They're not criticizing Luka for what he's doing. What that shows you is that these guys he had weapons on the floor. I'm not gonna sit up here and throw a parade when Luka goes out and then these guys don't perform or whatever, and then everybody's like, "Oh yeah, well see, I told you so. I told you so." No, because those guys are so used to standing around. Now These guys, they want to win. I believe that Jason Kidd is going to want to see more ball movement. He's going to command continuity, and the biggest thing is he's going to command chemistry between the squad. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit of a prisoner of the moment when they went up on the Clippers last year. I was a little bit of the prisoner of the moment. But in order for them to win, because they could have had the series, in order for them to win, Luka's gonna have to do that. Brunson don't really care about scoring like that. And when you got a guard like that, nigga, that's a blessing to play with. To play with a guy that don't really care about scoring, who can hit the shot when it's open, takes the shot when necessary, doesn't force anything. He doesn't force anything. So y'all tell me what you think. Leave your comments. Like this video, share it, subscribe. Also hit the notifications too. Until then, Polo Sports Talking ENT, man. I'm gonna get at y'all later.